It was difficult. We had no time, but we did it. A mokab is like a square tent. It's a source of food service for people. It's for free. It's for the people walking from Najaf to Karbala in Iraq, the 80-kilometer journey towards Imam Hussain alayhi salam on foot, the biggest religious gathering on earth. All lovers of Imam Hussain from all around the world try to attend it, whether it's Christians, Muslims, Hindus, or even non-believers. But some people can't afford to go to Iraq every year and attend that large gathering and walk on foot. So what they do instead is create a similar walk in their own countries, largest of them being in Pakistan, from many cities to many others. So many of them end up to our village, Rajoa Sadat, a village close to Faisalabad. This village contains 90% Shias, and this year we were meant to serve the people walking, and we were meant to create a mokab. Our group, Kazmiyya Organization, was a group of 8 people, basically 8 cousins gathered up together. Many of us lived in different spots in Pakistan or even outside, but for this mokab we all gathered together. But the interesting part is that one day before the mokab started, none of us were in that village and we had to arrive one day before. It's a long story how we all made it there the night before, but the interesting part is that something happened to us. A miracle which we believe was from Allah and Imam. The last day, our funds were almost half of what we had expected. The last night, we prayed a lot. And finally somebody texted us and he donated half of the rest. A lot happened on how we could finally get to our village, but let's move on. The night we arrived to Rajoa Sadat, our village, we made it there around 3 a.m. in the morning. And we had a meeting right away with 5 of our cousins. But we made our decisions. The next day, 4 of us went to buy stuff and 4 of us stayed to make the mokab structure. The 4 who wanted to make this structure had gotten the materials and everything. And we already had a 3D plan of how the mokab is going to look like. But the other 4 of us had to get a lot of stuff like foods, drinks, tea, banners, cards and everything. And we couldn't get them from our village, so we had to go to Faisalabad. I remember walking on the streets of Faisalabad when the temperature was 46 degrees Celsius. We bought a lot of stuff, including dates, apples, bananas, biscuits, juices, and tea. We finally made it back to our village and they had already made the structure of that mokab. The night was so weird and we were so excited and nervous. The next morning, unexpectedly the mokab started really early, like 6 a.m. in the morning. People started coming and we had to start serving them. But something unfortunate happened to us. Our internal management guy got sick and he couldn't attend. So what we had to do is replace everybody everywhere, which messed up the mokab early in the morning. Everything was going so unorganized. I remember that time we had to put a guy in front to give stuff which was meant to make the juices and sherbets. And I, as the cameraman, had to be giving dates to people. But whatever happened, at the end of the day, Allah helped us and we managed it without the internal management guy. The people kept on coming. We didn't expect that many people to attend that walk. And the fact that we were not the only mokib, there were so many mokibs around, but people would stop at ours because it was at a point where you could rest as well. And talking about our mokib structure, it had three main different parts. One for ladies' rest and food, one for men's rest and food, and the main part was the front of mokib, where our team was giving stuff to people walking and our rest areas. In the structure, one main problem that we faced was that we made one line for the ladies and one for the gents. Basically, the ladies and gents both had to come from different entries and had to come out from different entries as well, different exits as well, making it four different lines. And that would go on to confuse people. People would start coming from anywhere and go out from elsewhere. At a point that ladies were entering from men's exit and men were entering from ladies' entrance, everything was just messed up. So what we came up as a plan was that when the amount of people decreased in the walk, we changed the lines and we make it one general line. One entrance, one exit. That's it for all ladies and all men. Now the food part. The food we gave should have both fed the people and matched our budget as well. So when we went to buy stuff, we planned that we would store fruits like apples and bananas. So we bought different types of cookies as well alongside the tea. Plus that we had dates, a lot of them. For the drinks, we had water, of course, and two types of sherbet, which were made right there. Due to the heat outside, we had to make the juices cold enough. And for that, we had to use a lot of ice. Although our team was 8 people, 8 cousins, but what we did was that we got help from a school nearby who my uncle used to teach in. So he brought them and they helped us a lot. We would manage them from behind and enter the main line once needed. But mainly on the main line, on the front line, they would be giving stuff to people. The good thing was that everything was being recorded on a camera and phones and a drone actually. But what we saw in our mokib, the lessons we learned were the most important thing. We saw a lot of sacrifice, kindness and devotion amongst all the people working and helping the mokib. It truly made us feel like we are with our Imam on the day of Ashura. It felt, I felt like apart from helping people, we were doing something bigger, changing ourselves and others on a broader purpose. I could see people crying once the nohas were played on the speakers. And speakers, by the way, we had 2 of them and a good sound system. We could see people respecting the elder ones and the elder ones respecting the younger ones. We could see kids' passions to work harder no matter what.
وحق جف الكفيل وجوده والراية أنا وعباس وياكم يا مشاية وحق جف الكفيل وجوده والراية أنا وعباس وياكم يا مشاية يا من بعت النفوس وجيت شراية علي واجب أوافيكم يا وفاية.
Just like it was in Karbala. Because whatever we did at the end of the day was for our Imam, and it should seem like it is in Karbala. It should seem like the day of Ashura. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, that's what happened. Of course, we had disagreements amongst ourselves, which happens amongst any group of youth or any team. But we had promised ourselves we wouldn't shout or do anything that would get noticed by the students that were working with us or people walking by. Because one of the most important lessons from Karbala is that you should move on with people, you should respect each other, you should not fight. And so did we. We kept quiet if something happened. Disagreements were kept. But from all of that, we learned a lot of lessons. We learned that team comes before individuals. Alone we go faster, and together we go farther. We learned that all the people asking for help should be helped. We learned sometimes you gotta sacrifice for a bigger purpose. We learned people are the biggest assets. We learned plans don't always work. You got to have replacements. We learned solve people's actual problems to get something done. We learned if you're doing something for Imam, he will help you himself. Allah helps in unexpected ways. And above all, we learned that our plans are always different from Allah's plans. We didn't expect this much growth, this much potential in ourselves, and Allah just helped us in so many ways, which we should be thankful for. What we hope for the most is that Imam accepts this act from us as a pure act, not as one that shows off to people or for other purposes. If we did something eventful or purposeful this year, it was this Mokab-e-Fatmiyya Kazmiya organization.